So after all the expose done by an undercover agent or investigator, Anas Arumio Anas, we understand that the Bawjiase Orphanage, which is at the countryside, is still operating. And Odilia Foy, who is very passionate about such causes, is there to bring us up to speed. Odilia, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Bridget, as you can hear in the background, that's the nursery 2 that is still operating. What we gathered from the press conference yesterday, that there were about 100, close to 100 pupils in the school whose parents had to be identified and probably sent to their parents for them to find them other schools. It doesn't look like that is what is happening in the school right now. The school is operating in full gear. What we gather from the headmaster is that they have about close to 200 pupils in the school right now. Of course, parents have started coming to the school individually to find out what they could do with their wards and whether the report is really true. And of course, the headmaster and the school administration and indeed the operators of the orphanage have been, talking to parents and assuring them that everything is all right. And so the school is in full operation. However, the orphanage and the orphans have all been taken away and it's not in operation. What we also gather from the place is that 4 people in the school, that's the administrator, the accountant, a nurse who was operating here, and the woman, that's the owner of the place, are still in police custody being interrogated. And this happened since Monday.
All right, Odilia, so it's from your report, it is because the children or the parents have nowhere else to take them, that's why they are there, because obviously, I mean, what happened there shouldn't happen to any child, really, despite the fact that the principal and the accountant are all in police custody.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't want to say exactly that. What I would want to say is that I think they have been very good at convincing the parents to still keep their children in the school. Because what I gather here is that the 2 teachers who we saw in the video really caning the children have not been here in the past 4 months. The current headmaster in the school says since he took office, those 2 teachers are no longer here. Of course, if this is something that has happened and it's gone viral, definitely the current teachers or the teachers who are currently here would want to behave themselves. And so they're trying to manage the place to really make sure that they still keep the numbers, even though the orphanage is closed. And so the teachers who actually were involved in the atrocities are currently no longer in the school. I am not too sure whether they have also been arrested, but what I gather is that the 4 people have been arrested and they are in police custody.
All right, well, you have been there for a while. What have you observed from the way the caretakers and givers are attending to the kids? I mean, it's different obviously when there's a camera there, but what have you picked up from there?
Yeah, I see this solemn atmosphere in the place. Everybody is being very cautious. For instance, the moment we entered the place, the owner of the place said no interviews, and so all the teachers and everybody have been warned not to talk to the media because their lawyers have asked them not to speak with anybody, because anything you say could be used later as evidence against the proprietor of the place. And then you also notice that even though everything seems to be going on normally, obviously the caregivers of the orphans are just sitting around, virtually having nothing to do. So when you come here, it's a solemn atmosphere. Nothing seems to be really going on.
All right, Odilia, the social welfare has already admitted that they cannot monitor the over 120 orphanages in the country, but this is one that has been in the spotlight. Do they get visits from officials of the social welfare department?
Yeah.
And how often?
What I gather is that the social welfare department comes here in every 3 months, to come and inspect the books. It's just like we have also come here. Once we are here, really nothing goes on. Nobody will show you what really happens in the background. And we also gathered from the headmaster that even they could not believe some of the things they saw in the video because they were happening at night. And so these are things that happen in the night. What the social welfare admitted was that they will have to then add night inspections to, the monitoring that they do, because a lot of the things that, and some of the orphanages that they have closed, actually they went there during the night, for surprise visits and saw that all these things are happening. We must admit also that the social welfare actually need aid more than any other person. And so if they do not even have the vehicles to monitor, the various places, then these are some of the realistic challenges that will not make them operate in full capacity.
All right, thank you very much. Odilia Ofori is our correspondent, and she's reporting from Bawjiase. And when Anas's video hits the airwaves, everybody, the whole country was taken aback. So various orphanages, the Osu Children's Home, and a few others that we were probably not expecting to see. But has anything changed? You can also send us your thoughts on it on Odilia's report as News on TV3 at News on TV3.